Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Binti YUSOF. So today, my friends and I are going to talk about Enro's career development theory. So I am going to talk about the introduction of this theory. So basically, this theory was developed by Enro in 1956. This theory stated that people choose their career based on their interaction with their parents. So this theory focused more on individual oriented in many aspects, such as sociology, biology and psychology, but it focused more on psychology because Rose was studies in psychology field. Alright, okay, so there are three types of relationship between parent and child that are going to be explained by my friends. And then Rose classified a new 8 group of work, and then she also identified 6 stages of works based on responsibilities, abilities and skills.
The founder of this theory is Anne Roe. She was born on 1904 and was raised up in Denver, Colorado. She was raised up in a financially struggling family, and she was the second out of 4 siblings, so she used to work while studying to help her family. She continued her master's in psychology and education in University of Denver and later graduated with a philosophical doctor PhD in experimental psychology under the supervision of Robert S. Woodward. The publication of The Psychology of Occupations would introduce Rose's theory of personality development and career choice, her most enduring scientific contribution. Roe also received an award of excellent service in 1972 from Clinical Psychology Department of American Psychological Association (APA). Roe's early research was focused on personality theory and occupational behavior and classification because she had always been interested in the topic, though she had no experience of careers or vocational guidance and counseling. Through the person-environment theory, Roe suggested a personality approach to a career choice which anticipate that a job satisfies an unconscious need. In 1980, Roe suffered from a heart problem and had to end her career and many of her professional positions. She died on May 29, 1991 at her home in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, for the background and history of the theory. Okay, in the early stage, Enro did a series of research on personality traits, background factors, and natural inclination or talents and intellectual abilities as they related to career choice. Okay, the findings of her study were reported in a series of working papers. However, the main finding of the study are summarized in several monographs related to individuals who have an excellent reputation in the field of physical, biological, and behavioral science or social science. Okay. Enroll preliminary study subjects were biologists, physicists, and chemists. Okay, they were given a group of several projective tests such as the Rorschach ink blot test, and sometimes they use thematic apperception test (TAT) and competency test. Okay, for those tests, Roe was able to report on the different and similarity that exists between scientists from their various fields. Okay. Roe has conducted a personality test using TAT, which is thematic apperception test, and Rorschach ink blot test, and she also interviewed on the study subject of her choice. Okay, the aspects discussed in her interviews with well-known scientists include topics related to family background, childhood experience, psychosocial development, religious experience, and belief and work experience. Okay, from the study, Roe conclude that the main difference that exists in terms of personality between physical and biological scientists and behavioral scientists or social science are in terms of their type of interaction, either with the public or with the object. Okay, Ro also come to the second conclusion that she found that the difference between these leading scientists were due to the fact that they also had different experience of caring for children and differences in parenting relationship with them during that time. Okay, thus it can be said that Andrew's career theory of selection focus on two main things, which is individual personalities and job classification. Okay, when it comes to personalities issues, Rose takes the approach that she largely determines her individual family background and the service she received from her parents. Okay, for the main concept and objective of the theory, okay, as we know, Enroll's personality theory states that a person choose their career based on their interaction with their parent. Okay, the way a child interact with their parent will lead them to pursue either person-oriented or non-person-oriented job. Okay, person-oriented job have a high amount of interaction with other people. Okay, for non-person-oriented job are more independent. Okay, Ro create several categories of career that could be person-oriented or non-person-oriented based on the skills level of the job. Okay, for the first, salah. Okay, Enro divide the occupations into 8 occupational groups. Okay, first is service. These occupations are primarily concerned with serving and attending to the needs and welfare of other person. Okay, next is business contact, which is these occupations are primarily concerned with the face-to-face sale of commodities, investment, real estate, and service. Okay, third is organization. These are the managerial and white-collar job in business, industries, and government. Okay, the occupation is concerned primarily with the organization and efficient of functioning commercial enterprise. Okay, next, technology, which is this group include occupation concerned with the production, maintenance, and transportation of commodities and utilities. Okay, next, outdoor. Okay, this group include the occupation primarily concerns with the cultivation, preservation, and gathering of crops, marine or island, or other national resources. Okay, next, science. Okay, these are the occupation primarily concerned with scientific theory and its application under specific circumstance other than technology. Okay, second last is general culture, which is these occupations are primarily concerned with the preservation and transmission of the general cultural heritage. Okay, and 8, the last one, art and entertainment. These occupations include those concerned with the use of special skills in the creative arts and in entertainment. Okay, each of this category, Enro state that has 6 levels based on how much skill is required for the job. Okay, first, professional and managerial, independent responsibility. Okay, this level include the innovators, creators, and top managerial and administrative people, as well as professionals who have independent responsibility in important respect. Okay. Second is professional and managerial. The distinction between this level and the previous one is primary one of degree. Okay, genuine autonomy may be present but with less significant responsibility than in the previous level. Some categories suggest for this level are medium level responsibilities, policy interpretation, education at or above the bachelor's degree level but below the doctoral level. Okay, third is semi-professional and small business. The categories I guess for this level are low level of responsibility for others, application of policy and determination for self only, and education at the level of high school or technical school. Okay, fourth is skill. This level and the following level are classic subdivisions of skill occupation which required apprenticeship or other special training or experience. Okay. Fifth, semi-skill, which is this occupation required some training and some experience but markedly less than the occupation in the level 4, which is skill. Okay, moreover, much less autonomy and initiative are permitted in this occupation. Okay, 6, unskilled. This occupation required no special training or education and not more ability than is needed to follow simple direction and to engage in simple repetitive action. Okay, at this level, group differentiation depends primarily on the occupational setting.
So for the example of theory application in career counseling, as we know that Rose created a questionnaire which is parent-child relations questionnaire, PCR, to determine parent and child relationship during childhood. This questionnaire can be taken by maybe adult and children. Okay, and then when they take the test, okay, this questionnaire, they will know either they have been raised in a suppressed environment or maybe loving, caring environment. So Rose stated that people raised with a suppressed environment tend to become aggressive and take into account with what people said, and they tend to choose work related to machine and data because they do not like to work with people. And then people raised with loving, caring and kind environment is not aggressive, okay? And they tend to choose work related to communication with others. They love to socialize with others.
Okay, about the assessment and evaluation tools, Rose theory used the parenting-child relationship inventory (PCRI) to measure parenting behavior that related to the quality of the parent-child relationship and the parents' attitude toward their children and their parenting role. There are 78 items with the 4 response, which is totally disagree, agree, and strongly agree. Okay, there is a 7 scale in parenting-child relationship inventory, which is parental support, satisfaction with parenting, involvement, communication, role orientation, limit setting, and autonomy. Okay, but the first one is a parenting support. Parenting support those who perceive themselves as getting enough emotional and practical support are in a better position to provide care to a child than those who do not. The second one is a satisfaction with parenting. Is to measure reflecting the enjoyment a parent receive from being a parent.
The next is involvement. Involvement is a scale reflect the client's propensity to seek out his children, manifest an interest in their activity, and spend more time with them. It is more concerned about the children's welfare. Communication. This scale represents clients' awareness of how well they communicate with their children in a variety of situations. Next is limit setting. Limit setting is to measure the effectiveness and characters of the parents' discipline techniques. Next is autonomy. Autonomy is to measure how willing the client is to promote child independence. The last is role orientation. Role orientation is to measure the extent to which the client's attitude reflects the current egalitarian value, which assigns similar responsibility to both parents.
This theory has its own advantages as well as limitations. One of the advantages is that it emphasizes on family relationship. It focuses on childhood environment, specifically regarding parenting style, and the base of the belief is that an individual decides on a career field according to how it satisfies one's psychological need. While for the limitation, this theory cannot be proven by empirical reasoning. In other words, it is hard to prove the relationship between early parenting style and the career choice of a child. This limitation is due to possibility in inaccuracy of the real parenting behavior applied by parents upon their child. Because a mother and a father may have different approach in nurturing their child. Some children do not have parents. Therefore, it is hard to prove the relationship between early parenting style and career choice of a child.
To conclude, Enro theory made it clear that the attitude of parents toward their children has great influence on children's choice of career later in life. Besides, early childhood experience has great psychological effects on career choice and success in life. Other than that, it also helps career counselor in assisting students from disturbed families and career choice. Lastly, it also helps the career counselors to make parents understand the effects of their behavior toward their children and the kind of environment that they create at home on their children's career choice and success.